It wasn't the losses. It wasn't even a stagnant offense. What finally set Kevin Stefanski off was one sentence from Mary Kay Cabot, a challenge, live on air, that the Browns should start Shedeur Sanders over Dillon Gabriel. That moment flipped the entire segment. As cameras rolled, Stefanski's demeanor shifted instantly from guarded coach speak to raw emotion. It caught everyone off guard. Why did that question hit so hard? Some say it was a timing, right after Gabriel's worst outing of the year.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Others point to internal politics. Whispers that Stefanski's job may hinge on who plays quarterback next. Either way, it became clear this isn't just a coaching debate. It's a crisis of leadership. Now, with the quarterback room under a microscope, Stefanski's reaction has taken center stage in a controversy that's threatening to redefine the Browns season. Fans are restless. The offense is broken. And Dillon Gabriel's play, particularly on third downs, has made the calls for change impossible to ignore. Mary Kay didn't introduce the debate, but her demand threw gasoline on it. The pressure to start Sanders is no longer theoretical. It's media-driven, fan-fueled, and public. Stefanski's emotional response may have been involuntary, but it revealed the core truth. He's fighting for more than just a win. He's fighting to justify a decision that may no longer be defensible. He's dragging this decision out to the point of absurdity. The Browns need a spark, and they've got one sitting in uniform. But instead of trusting the rookie with actual upside, Stefanski is going down with the ship and taking the season with him. If this keeps up, the locker room revolt won't be subtle. The fans already want Sanders. The media is calling for it. And if Kevin Stefanski keeps swinging at reporters instead of making the obvious quarterback change, it won't be long before the Browns make their change. Starting at the top. Kevin Stefanski came into that press conference ready to face questions, but not that question. The Browns had just wrapped up another head-scratching loss. Another game where the offense sputtered at the worst possible moments. Another outing where Dillon Gabriel looked overwhelmed, hesitant, and completely out of sync with what the team needed from a starting NFL quarterback. And then Mary Kay Cabot cut through the noise with one sentence. He couldn't finish the job. It hit like a punch. Not because it was mean or out of bounds, but because it was true. And when she followed it up by suggesting Shedeur Sanders might be the better option, Stefanski lost whatever composure he had left. That moment wasn't just a media soundbite. It was a symptom of everything boiling under the surface in Cleveland. The Browns are unraveling, and the quarterback situation is at the center of the mess. This isn't just about poor execution on the field. This is about coaching decisions that no longer make sense, a team stuck in neutral, and a growing chorus of media, fans, and insiders wondering what it's going to take for Stefanski to finally pull the plug on the Dillon Gabriel experiment. Because let's be clear, experiment is all it ever was. Yes, Gabriel had some preseason moments. Yes, he looked efficient in limited situations. But regular season football is a different animal. And now, 6 games in, the weaknesses are impossible to ignore. His inability to convert on third down, his struggles reading complex defenses, the way he avoids risk to a fault, constantly settling for checkdowns that go nowhere. You don't win games in the NFL by playing scared. And right now, Gabriel looks scared. Against Minnesota, it was textbook dysfunction. A 3-and-out at the worst possible time. Play calling that felt more like damage control than strategy. Receivers visibly frustrated after yet another missed window. The defense doing its job just to see the offense throw it away. Again. And through it all, Stefanski keeps doubling down. He talks about process, about trust, about development. But every week, Gabriel gives him less and less to stand on. The issues aren't subtle. They're glaring. When your quarterback can't push the ball downfield, can't handle pressure, and can't keep a drive alive on third down, what are you even building around? At some point, the word development just becomes an excuse. And that's where Shedeur Sanders comes in. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Sanders isn't just physically more gifted. He's mentally prepared in a way few rookies are. He's been under the spotlight for years. He's faced pressure most college players never even dream of. And through all of it, he's delivered. That's not speculation. It's fact. The arm talent, the presence, the ability to extend plays while still keeping his eyes downfield. These aren't hypotheticals. Sanders has shown it over and over again. And now, the Browns have a decision to make. Keep waiting for Gabriel to magically level up, or give the ball to the quarterback who actually looks ready to lead an NFL team. It should be a no-brainer. But for Stfansky, it's clearly not. That press conference said everything. His defensiveness, his visible frustration, his refusal to entertain the idea that maybe, just maybe, Gabriel isn't the answer. It didn't come off as conviction. It came off as a man under pressure, unwilling to back down even as the evidence mounted against him. And that pressure? It's not just external. It's internal, too. People inside the building know what's happening. Coaches, scouts, even players. You don't need a source to see the body language. Players on the field aren't rallying behind Gabriel. They're surviving around him. And that's a dangerous place for a team to be. When your quarterback doesn't demand a huddle, the whole thing starts to crumble. Confidence evaporates. Trust goes out the window. And suddenly you're not just losing games, you're losing belief. That's what Stefanski is risking by sticking with Gabriel. And to be honest, it's already started to backfire. Fan frustration has reached a fever pitch. Analysts are openly calling for a change. And every week that Sanders doesn't start, it becomes less about protecting a rookie and more about protecting a bad decision. Because let's not dance around it. This is a bad decision. Not because Gabriel's a bad guy. Not because he's incapable of ever developing. But because right now, in this moment, he's holding the team back. And with Sanders on the roster, that's unacceptable. The NFL doesn't wait for anyone. And Stefanski's job is not to coddle a player, it's to win games. Or, at the very least, to give the team its best chance at winning. Gabriel is not that chance. Every metric says so. Every third down stat. Every missed opportunity, downfield. Every red zone failure. The tape doesn't lie. And on the other side, Sanders sits, waiting, watching, ready. He's the future. But the future can't start if the present keeps getting in the way. And right now, Stefanski is that obstacle. This is where the stakes get real. Because this quarterback controversy isn't just about Sanders versus Gabriel. It's about Stefanski versus the clock. His coaching decisions are now front-page drama. The media isn't just reporting, they're confronting. The fan base isn't just disappointed. They're furious. And the front office? You have to think they're watching every move. Because job security in the NFL is tied directly to adaptability. Coaches who adjust, who admit when something isn't working, who take calculated risks, they survive. They build. They evolve. But coaches who dig in, who ignore mounting evidence, who make decisions based on pride instead of performance, they don't last. And if Stefanski keeps dragging this out, if he keeps riding with a quarterback who can't convert a third down to save his life, he's going to find himself out of a job long before Sanders ever takes the field. This is a turning point for the Browns, not just a team, but the entire organization. Start Sanders, and you give the fan base hope. You send a message to the locker room that performance matters, that the best player will play, no matter the politics. Stick with Gabriel, and you send the opposite message. You tell your team that stubbornness beats talent, that fear of being wrong matters more than being competitive, that your job is to protect decisions, not to win games. And when that message sinks in, the season is already over. It's not even about whether Sanders will be perfect. He won't be. No rookie is. But perfection isn't the bar. Progress is. Potential is. And with Sanders, the Browns actually have both. With Gabriel, they have a dead end. This isn't speculation. This is what's happening right now. Kevin Stefanski had a choice. He could have seen the signs. He could have listened to the locker room, the fans, the tape. He could have used that press conference to show accountability. Instead, he snapped. He got defensive. He refused to change course. And now, it's only a matter of time. Because if the Browns keep losing, if the offense keeps stumbling, If Gabriel keeps missing open receivers and settling for checkdowns, the call for Sanders will become deafening. And eventually, someone higher up will make the switch for him. The question is, will Stefanski still be around when it happens? That's what this whole saga boils down to. A coach betting his future on a quarterback who's shown no signs of being the future. A fan base demanding something different. And a rookie on the sideline who just might be the answer. So what happens next? That's on Stefanski. But one thing's for sure, the clock is ticking. Now it's your turn. Should the Browns make the switch to Sanders now, or give Gabriel more time to develop? Drop your take in the comments and let us know how you would handle it. And if you want more breakdowns like this, don't forget to subscribe, because the drama in Cleveland, it's only just getting started. The writing isn't just on the wall. It's painted across every stadium screen in bold lettering. Start. Shedeur. Sanders. There's no more room for tiptoeing around it. No more, we'll evaluate everything lines. No more, he needs more time, excuses. The fans are done being patient. The media has stopped softening the questions. And Kevin Stefanski? He's running out of places to hide. Every week, the Browns take the field with Dillon Gabriel under center. And every week, the same story unfolds like a bad rerun. A few short completions to open the game, a stalled drive after a missed third down read, followed by checkdowns on 3rd and 8, and then it just falls apart. Rinse. Repeat. This isn't development. It's denial. You don't need a coaching background to see what's happening. Gabriel simply isn't capable of elevating this offense. Not now. Not against even slightly competent defenses. His game is small. Small throws, small decisions, small margin for error. And the more games he starts, the more obvious it becomes that he's not growing. He's surviving. Barely. Let's be brutally honest here. Gabriel is a placeholder. Nothing more. The plan was never for him to be the guy. He was the until guy. As in, until Sanders is ready. Only now the timeline's flipped. Sanders is ready. He has the tools. He has the temperament. He's just waiting for the coaching staff to pull the trigger. And that hesitation is now turning into a full-blown crisis. Because the longer Stefanski delays this decision, the more fractured everything becomes. It's already happening. The locker room doesn't look united. Guys aren't energized. The body language is off. You see receivers jogging through routes when they know the ball isn't coming their way. You see offensive linemen holding their helmets a little longer after another 3 and out. You see players on defense visibly frustrated when the offense punts for the 4th time and a half. This is what happens when leadership refuses to make hard calls. You lose the locker room. You lose the trust of your players. And then you lose the team. Kevin Stefanski isn't just trying to save Dillon Gabriel's confidence anymore. He's trying to save his own job. That post-game press conference meltdown, that wasn't about Mary Kay Cabot being disrespectful. It was about accountability catching up to him in real time. The reporter simply said what everyone else already knew. Gabriel can't finish the job. And instead of owning that, Stefanski lashed out. That's not control. That's desperation. The thing is, there was a time when Stefanski had equity with the fan base. He'd been the adult in the room, the calm, analytical type. But now, all that's starting to erode. People don't want calm. They want action. They want a coach who isn't afraid to admit when something isn't working. They want someone who can recognize the obvious before it buries the season. Because here's the harsh reality. If this trend continues, Stefanski won't be the one making quarterback decisions much longer. You think ownership is going to sit back and watch the team spiral behind a failing quarterback just because the head coach is too invested in his own narrative? Not a chance. Especially when potential franchise quarterback is standing on the sidelines watching this all go down. And let's not sugarcoat this either. Shedeur Sanders isn't just an intriguing backup. He's a quarterback with legit NFL readiness. He's composed. He's accurate. He's athletic. He understands pressure. And most importantly, he's built for the spotlight. He's already been under more pressure at the college level than most NFL rookies will see their first year. The media scrutiny? He's handled it. The expectations? He's exceeded them. The mechanics? NFL ready. The intangibles? Off the charts. Sanders didn't come to Cleveland to sit forever. And the fans didn't come back this season to watch Gabriel throw 5-yard outs on 3rd and long, while the coaching staff talks about staying the course. The course is broken. And nobody knows that better than Stefanski. Deep down, he sees it too. You don't get that tense, that defensive, unless you're clinging to something you know is unraveling. It's no longer about what's best for the team. It's about avoiding the admission that he made the wrong call. But guess what? That admission is coming whether he likes it or not. The schedule isn't getting easier. Opposing defenses are keying in on Gabriel's limitations. Teams are stacking the box, daring him to throw downfield, knowing full well he won't. The scouting reports are getting sharper. The windows are getting tighter. And Gabriel? He's getting worse under pressure, not better. So how many more games does Stfansky get before the calls become mandates? Because the switch isn't just a tactical move anymore. It's a message. Start Sanders. And you're telling the team that you're serious about winning. That no one gets a free pass. That the best players will play, no matter the politics. Keep rolling out Gabriel. And you're telling everyone that saving face matters more than scoring points. That pride outweighs progress. That you'd rather lose your job on your terms and win on someone else's. That might be noble, but it's also how you get fired. The Browns have been here before. The fan base has seen enough quarterback controversies, coaching dysfunction, and front office indecision to fill an entire documentary series. They know what it looks like when the organization is frozen by its own indecisiveness. They also know what it looks like when the solution is right there, begging to be acknowledged. At this point, starting Sanders isn't a gamble. It's the only rational move left. There's upside. There's hope. There's a chance to build something. Even if he struggles, it's experience that pays off later. And best case, he clicks. The team rallies and the season flips. Worst case, you at least stop the bleeding and begin shaping the identity of a team that doesn't run from bold decisions. But every week Stefanski delays, he chips away at that possibility. Every week, more fans tune out. More players lose faith. More media questions get sharper. And eventually, the decision will be out of his hands. That's how this ends if nothing changes. And honestly, it would be a shame. Because Stefanski could be the coach to guide Sanders through this transition. He could be the one to usher in the next era. But only if he stops clinging to the past and starts coaching for the future. Right now, that future is sitting on the bench. And every second he stays, there is a second the Browns can't afford to waste. So the question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders should start. The question is, what are we even waiting for? There's a reason this particular Browns storyline feels different. Not just frustrating, but historic in a way only Cleveland sports chaos can be. Because it's not just a quarterback controversy. It's a full-blown organizational stress test. Everything is under the microscope now. Coaching culture, decision-making, even leadership identity. And at the core of it, one stubborn choice that keeps dragging the entire franchise into the mud. Every play Gabriel takes under center is a reminder of what's not happening. The hesitation, the missed reads, the fear of throwing past the sticks. It's not just about production. It's the energy or lack of it that's sucking the life out of the team. The Browns' offense doesn't look lost. It looks resigned, like it knows the ceiling is already set, and they're just waiting for the inevitable clock strike to run out another winnable game. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders stands on the sideline, looking like the elephant in the room no one's allowed to talk about. But people are talking. Loudly. You've got sports radio shows dedicating entire hours to the quarterback situation. Fan signs at games. Commentators hinting not so subtly that the Browns might be ignoring the future out of pure ego. Even former players are chiming in, calling for a spark. And not just any spark, a real shift. A quarterback who can stretch the field, make defenses nervous, and lead a huddle with presence. Because let's be clear, Gabriel doesn't have that presence. Not now. Not in this league. And maybe not ever. That's the thing no one on the coaching staff seems willing to admit. Dylan Gabriel isn't just struggling. He's being exposed. The same issues that plague him in college, hesitation, shallow progressions, limited arm strength, are being amplified by NFL speed. and defenses have caught on. They know they don't need to blitz him. They just have to force third and medium and wait for the panic throw. The film doesn't lie, and neither does the scoreboard. So what exactly is Stefanski waiting for? The answer is likely fear. Fear of being wrong. Fear of losing control. Fear of acknowledging that the plan was flawed from the start. But here's the problem. Sticking with a bad plan out of pride is how seasons get flushed. And in the NFL, a few lost games can turn into a lost locker room real fast. And that's the risk no one's talking about enough. Not the media, not the post-game pressers, not even Stefanski himself. Locker room morale. Because you think veterans want to waste another year of their prime watching a quarterback who can't move the chains? You think young players will go buy into a system that rewards safe over effective? At some point, silence turns into resentment. And by the time that surfaces publicly, it's too late. Starting Shedeur Sanders wouldn't just be a tactical decision. It would be a statement. A signal that performance matters. That this team is willing to evolve. That the coaching staff hasn't gone completely tone-deaf to what's unfolding in front of them. Even if Sanders isn't perfect, and let's be real, he won't be, the team needs something to believe in. Right now, they've got nothing but tired schemes and empty post-game quotes. And yet, week after week, Stefanski goes back to Gabriel like it's a contract clause. He's playing scared, not just on the field, but in the meeting rooms. And it's that kind of coaching mindset that gets people fired. Playing to not lose, protecting the status quo, instead of shaking up the system that clearly isn't working. At this point, it's not even about whether Sanders is ready. It's about whether the organization is willing to stop pretending Gabriel is. The numbers, the body language, the blown plays, they've all told the same story for weeks. Sanders might need some seasoning, sure, but at least he plays with conviction. At least he challenges defenses. At least he represents progress. Gabriel represents fear. And fear has no business leading an NFL offense. You want to know what kind of decision sparks belief in a team, in a city, in a locker room that's teetering on the edge of disillusionment? It's a decision that says, we're not waiting for the wheels to fall off. We're driving the damn bus. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a rookie quarterback. He's a reason to tune in, a reason to fight. A reason for fans to believe the team hasn't given up on itself. So now the ball is in Stefanski's court. For maybe the final time, he can keep riding out the Gabriel experiment, hoping for a miracle that's clearly not coming. Or he can do what this franchise desperately needs. Shake the room. Light the fire. Start the future. Start Sanders. Let us know your take in the comments. Would you make the switch now, or keep giving Gabriel one more chance? Either way, make sure to subscribe, because if the saga doesn't erupt soon, we'll be shocked. And when it does, you'll want a front row seat.